this one.
And then this one. I have my notes, I start out with my notes. It's just, again, something to hold on to like everybody else, right? So, welcome. I'll give you just a moment more.
I'm gonna grab a magazine to write on.
Very good.
I have clipboards.
Oh, you do?
Here you go.
Oh, I think it's board.
Oh,
And
Look
you
at
need
that.
any pens?
yeah, I'll
Yeah.
take one of those too then, thanks.
She has the clipboards, but pens.
I stole a pen already.
Anyone else need a pen?
Oh, I'll take a pen. I don't have to take my own pen.
Right?
Perfect. And are there more clipboards? There you go.
Oh, it's on my chair, thank you.
You're welcome.
Great.
Okay, all set. Well, I just want to say welcome to Cadence Chiropractic and the Move That Body workshop. So we're here just to learn some tips and kind of figure out some small changes for maximum results, some ideas, some things that you can do to help you increase your movement, answer some questions, get rid of some of those excuses that we have and find out how we can look at working out differently, activity in a different light. So that's what we're doing here today. And I want to thank Dr. Amanda for sponsoring and having us all here. Yay!
Thank you for coming, Terry.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, and I always want to say, whenever I do a workshop, whenever I do a presentation, of all the things that you could be doing with your time right now and you choose to come here, that's amazing. It's not lost on me. Thank you for caring enough about you to spend a few minutes learning some new information. So my appreciation back to you. So again, Terry Manson with Beginning Today Lifestyle Wellness. My tag there, beginning today, will believe in myself, love and support myself, and look forward to the future of me being the best me I can be. And I think if you keep that as a vision for yourself, it helps you make those choices. Every day we wake up and we make choices, and so that helps me stay focused with that. Let's see. Oh, what happened to our clicker now? Are we on? Our computer went to
Try it now.
There we go. So a little bit about me, Move That Body strategies to maximize results. So, you know, sometimes you just go someplace and you just work out because that's where you're meant to be. That's what you're doing. You're just focusing on, you know, the obvious. You're working out, you're doing something. But we're going to talk a little bit about changing that attitude into something fun. And so it doesn't matter what you're doing, but if you have fun with it, we turn that activity from the mindset of, I have to do this, I have to move my body, I have to work out, to, I'm going to go play. I'm going to go have a little bit of fun, I'm going to have something different to do. So different from going to the studio and working out to just being outside and being crazy and just running free. Move that body, what does that mean? What does that mean? It's different for all of us. Dr. Mann has talked many times about how your muscle improves your heart and lungs, and when you move and you get that activity in and you move yourself, your lungs are stronger, your heart beats better, you get that oxygen where it needs to be, reduces the risk of illness and disease. 30 minutes of activity a day will really get you where you need to be. So who's getting 30 minutes of activity every day?
Most ladies.
Yeah, okay, so 30 solid minutes all at one time?
Yeah.
Perfect. So what if I told you you could get that 30 minutes in 3 times in 10-minute intervals? What do you think about that?
Even better.
Even better, right. Well, doable, thank you. That's what we're looking for, doable. Because sometimes thinking, I don't have 30 minutes. You know, we have to get our mind right. We have to get our mindset on. And you might be the person that's like, I don't have 30 minutes. Okay, fine, but you might have 10. So you get up, you do 10 minutes of brisk intentional walking, 10 minutes of some floor activity, 10 minutes of watching a video, and then you move about your day. And then at lunchtime, you take that 10-minute brisk walk, move your body doing that way, and then in the evening, that night, another 10 minutes. So you've got 10, 10, 10, and that's your 30 minutes. If you're not doing activity, does that sound like a good place to start? Perfect. So those little changes that you can make, and so often I think people get overwhelmed with how they're going to do it, where they're going to find the time, and a lot of times people think, I have to go to the gym for an hour. No, you don't. So just changing how you think about that. So here we're going to have a list, and these people are just doing some simple stretching, yoga activity, and that too is activity, that is moving that body. So wherever we meet you, we take you from there. So we've got some ideas at what's most important to you. So when you look at this, and maybe all 10 of these are very important to you, but I like to say, break it down, move it into doable bits and pieces, so that you're not looking at everything all at the same time. What you're interested in might be very different than what you're interested in, but we all have to find out what is different for us, what makes it different for us. So, did you know that regular activity keeps you young? It's like a fountain of youth. Maybe you're looking to reduce infections at a certain age, at a certain point in our life. We just, we're getting sick, we're catching more colds, we're around other people. So you keep moving that body, that's gonna help you with that. Prevent heart attacks. You gotta keep that blood flowing, you gotta keep that oxygen going. So if you're moving that body, that's gonna help with that issue. So if some of us suffer from asthma, so we wanna keep our lungs strong, right? We wanna keep moving that body so we keep everything going. So these are just a few here, and there's a lot on the screen to read. I'm not gonna read these all to you. Maybe you wanna control your blood sugar. That's very important for us that are watching our weight, right? And so you wanna move that body, so that takes care of that. Oddly enough, who realized that physical activity can help reduce the risk of cancer? Absolutely, absolutely. If you're moving that body and you're in the right mindset, you're gonna keep things going. It's gonna combat stress. What do we do for stress in this room? To help us get away from stress, not to get it. Anybody have any ideas?
Deep breathing.
Some deep breathing, right?
I like to be outside.
Oh, that's my favorite, be outside.
Go for a walk outside, always helps you.
You just, right, because you're cleansing, you're changing your mindset while you're out there. How important is that? Okay, so, relieve hot flashes. More important for some of us in this room than others. Yeah, pick me, I know, and it goes on forever, right? Protects men's health. They have the same, some of the different, but the same issues too. And just prolong your life. Has anybody, one of my favorite books, and a lot of times when I'm doing a presentation, I'll hand out a sheet that says some of my favorite reading books. Younger Next Year. Anybody heard of that book?
Yep.
You've read, do you know it? Have you read it?
Yep.
Great takeaways, right? What's one of your favorite from Younger Next Year?
Well, it was interesting, they have the kind of the more slower exercise and then higher exercise, and it kind of has different effects on, like, salt kind of works on different parts of your body. Like the slower one is more rejuvenate, or helps you kind of rebuild your body, and then the higher heart rate exercise kind of, builds up your, I don't know, it does.
Yeah, our body is a continuing science experiment. But that book, Younger Next Year, it's a fairly quick read. There's an original one and then there's one for women.
Now it's one for women, yeah.
It just kind of, Old Fred is kind of the tagline in there, so it's really kind of fun. But to that point, it's like when you do activity and when you move that body, the reason you want to push yourself, we all start, you got to talk to your doctor first and figure out where you're at. We all start slow and then we move forward faster, because as we push our body more and more, our body breaks things down and rejuvenates. So it's a great book. It'll explain a lot of science fact behind it. So moving that body helps us look better, feel better, age better, and we aren't moving as often as we should. And who would say they move too much? Yeah, right? Yeah. And the other thing, once you decide to get on, and you said you get that 30-minute exercise, you're dedicated to it, it's who you are.
It's like walking with the dog, that's what I do. So it's not like running or something like that.
No, walking with the dog is fine, there's no problem with that. Although, we'll talk about that a little bit later, but since it came up right now, I just want to hit on that just for a minute. If we're intentionally walking the dog, that means we are walking that dog. We're walking. If we're letting the dog sniff and relieve, not the same thing.
Yeah.
So it has to be intentional movement of the body that
Sure.
makes a difference. But any time that you've ever worked out or moved that body or participated in a video or yoga, has anybody ever finished and went, darn, I wished I hadn't done that? Yeah, no.
Not when you finish.
Well, not exactly. Exactly right. So the biggest part is getting yourself to move that body, get those shoes on, get those clothes changed. And we're going to talk about that too, as far as getting ready to be active. If the hardest part is, where are my clothes? Where are my shoes? Where's my rubber band? Where's, what I'm doing? If it's already set and it's in a bag and you can go, it's much easier to make that step. But that is the hardest part. Once you've done it, that's what I want you to think about later. I want you to think about that celebration of completing that very good task. It's that mindset afterwards. We're all very good at saying that was terrible. How many of us reward ourselves? Wow, that felt good. Wow, that was really amazing. Wow, you go to bed that night and say, good for me, good for me. And you need to continue to change that mindset so that happens for you. So let's get started. We just talked a little bit about that commitment, about moving that body, about what intentional movement means, right? So one of the first things to get us started with that is we have to develop a strategy for it. And to develop a strategy for it, we need to make an appointment with ourselves for it. Because it all comes back to, if I tell you, I'll meet you at the corner at 6 o'clock for our half-hour walk, come 5:45, I'm ready to go and I'm there, right? But if I tell myself, well, I'm gonna go for a walk at 6, and then suddenly I don't quite feel like it, I won't go, right? But if I know you're waiting for me, I'm there. So you have to make an appointment with yourself. You have to make that decision to go and make it happen. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna set it, we need to get out our calendars. Just make yourself a little note so you remember to do this. I put reminders on my phone all the time, but if you have a calendar, if you're a paper person, which, okay, kind of a paper person too. So we need to pick a date and time. Number one, important. So every Monday, when, I'm just gonna throw some out, you guys tell me, if you like to think of it differently. But every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, at 10 o'clock, I'm gonna go for a walk. And now that's on my calendar. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 10 o'clock, I've got it penciled in. So, how long am I gonna go for that walk? We have to really get finite, because if we don't, we get lost in thought. We get lost in our lack of commitment. So when you have an appointment for a meeting, you know where you're going, how long it's gonna take you, and when you need to be there and back, right? Asking you to do the same thing to take good care of yourself. So Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, I'm going for a walk, and I'm gonna go for 30 minutes. So 10 to 10:30, blacked out on my calendar. There it is, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, blacked out, going for a walk, 30 minutes. Do I have a buddy? Maybe my buddy is my headset. Maybe my buddy is calling you. We don't live in the same town, but I'm gonna call you and say, hey, I'm heading out the door. I'll call you in 30, right? That's my buddy, that's my accountability partner. So whether it's a phone or a timer or that kind of thing, knowledge. What do I need to know about where I'm going? Do I need a heavy coat? Do I just need my shoes? What do I need to know about where I'm going and what I'm doing with that? So get yourself together, get your list together so there's no surprises. You're ready to rock and roll. What else might you need to make sure that you are ready and set?
I'll make sure you have your shoes, or if you need a jacket, or whatever you need, just have it ready.
Absolutely. Depending if this is gonna be a longer walk, maybe you need your water bottle this time. If it's sunny, maybe you need your sunscreen. So just know what you need to do and have that down, but have that on your calendar so that you're perfectly ready. And I'm gonna nod right back to younger next year again. So when we look at the 6 to 12 months from now, 10 to 20, 30 years from now, sometimes we just think, when we make our commitments at the first of the year, I'm going to join the gym. Okay, so you joined the gym. Then what happened? Did you give yourself the things we just talked about? Date, time, frequency. What are you gonna be doing when you get there? Who are you gonna be seeing when you get there? What's your accountability for? And you need to look into the future and say, okay, in 6 months, this is where I want to be, or 3 months, start a little bit shorter. In 3 months, I want to be able to be more flexible. I want to be able to walk 15 minutes without breathing heavy. I want to lose 5 pounds. Whatever your goal is. so that when that time clicks by, you can go back and have that. But if we have no goals, if we have no future sights, if we don't plan ahead, it's hard to monitor our success. Because now we're 6 months down the road, we look back and we go, huh. But if you plan out 6 months, you know when you get there, you're gonna be reflecting on your commitments that you made to yourself. So another reason to celebrate you. These immediate gratifications aren't always there for our activities. So we need to be recognizing them for ourselves all the time. So when you're picking an activity that works right for you, if you're already fairly fit, maybe if I tell you walk a half hour every day, you're like, do that, right? Maybe though, if you're not of that practice yet, and I say walk a half hour every day, you're like, oh my gosh, that's something, right? So I work with all kinds of different people with all kinds of abilities and all kinds of sizes. So sometimes some of my clients, what I say is, you know what? If we just need to motivate things in a small set, it might be instead of when you're watching TV, instead of sitting here with the remote and clicking the channel, get up, approach the TV, change the channel, go back and sit down. Let's do that for a week or two, and then we'll move forward with something else. If you usually drive by and get your mail out of the mailbox, I'm going to ask you to put your car in the garage, walk to your mailbox, and come in the house. So it's those, do you see where those little things? So you have to know where you're at, talk with your doc, see where your activity level is, see where your heart rate is, and then build off from there. You can't go from 0 to 60 if you're not ready for it. And then, what's gonna happen if you try that?
You get discouraged.
You get discouraged, right. What else?
You hurt yourself.
You hurt yourself, right. Are you gonna keep doing it? No. So let's take these small successes, these small bites, and enjoy those, and then move forward. So again, let's make a plan. We talked about that, but again, I think it's important, and it's just gonna be kind of our mantra. For the next 4 weeks, we'll talk about 4 weeks. It's very doable. Let's not go any further than that. Because in 4 weeks, I always say you need to reevaluate. And I know you were thumbing through the planner. And in the planner, there's daily things that, you know, how you record. And every 4 weeks, I ask you to reflect, see what worked, see what needs to be tweaked, and what changes, or how you're gonna move forward. So do this for 4 weeks, see how you feel, how long it's been going on, make priorities, put them all on the top of your list. Very important, put it on your calendar. It doesn't work for all of us. So let's say we start out I always just say, generally I say 10 o'clock at Tuesday, you know, but let's just say we wrote it down, 10 o'clock, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We're having a hard time with that. So should we just quit it? No. We should change the time frame, right? So maybe 8 o'clock is better for you, or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So be a little bit flexible with yourself.
Because I saw you had about, not everyone can say work out before work, so what do you suggest? I mean, is that the ideal time if you can do it, is before work?
Okay.
But I'm sure you're the ideal time is whenever you'll actually do it, I mean, but.
Yes, the ideal time is whenever you will do it, that is true, but the best time, research shows, morning activity is better, and for a couple of different reasons. You tend to be more motivated in the morning, you tend to have more energy, you tend to be able to stay to a program easier. If you get your activity in and then you go about your day, then it's behind you and it's happened, and your body, it wakes up your body, gets your oxygen flowing, gets your blood flowing. It's a good way to start the day. It's kind of like having breakfast. I know some of us don't think breakfast in the morning is very important. Variety of things are regarding that too, and the kinds of breakfast, all that. But yeah, the activity, it would be great in the morning, but we're not all the same. Majority, yes, but we're not all the same. Some of us work night shifts, some of us have different things. So if you can't do it in the morning, if you're already getting up at, you know, the crow's 5 o'clock to get to the office, because some people work very early and they have to be there, then the next idea would be your 10 minutes during your breaks. We all get breaks, we have to get breaks legally, and during lunch, or right after work on your way home. Well, it's still something that's there. So that leads into another conversation about nutrition and eating, that sort of thing. But, and some of us, you know, we're better, we go home, we rest a little bit, and then we can take off at 7 o'clock at night. That's a rare person. Those are the people that it seems like a great idea, and then you just kind of get settled in. And so I always say have that workout bag in your car so that you can stop at the gym, or more and more often there are places on site, and I love the companies. I work with a lot of different companies, and they actually have a little workout space in their office. Sometimes you have to ask them where it is, because for some reason, people don't know that they have that and that that's available. So if it's available in your company, great, it's one less stop to make. You just go in there after work or go in there during lunch, and but basically you have to fit it out. And then when you figure out when that time is gonna be, we're gonna talk about refueling, because that's important. You don't wanna eat a big lunch and then attempt to work out. That's not gonna work out, so.
What if you wanna work out at home?
Love that. Okay, so tell me, what are you thinking at home? What does that mean to you?
Just having a routine of doing some kind of exercise at home.
Great. Okay. So if you don't have a spare room to dedicate to, I mean, some of us have a workout room or, you know, whatever. If you don't have that spare room, just kind of have a piece in a corner. Like for, I'll bet it was 3 years, I had a hula hoop that just leaned in the back of my couch. And so if I was talking on the phone or watching a show, I could do my hula hoop while I was doing that. I always say, you don't need to go out and buy weights. You can if you want to, they're everywhere. They're not all that expensive, but it's one more thing. Go in your cupboard, grab a couple cans of soup, and while you're watching your favorite show, we're gonna talk about posture in a little bit, you can do some of these things. Now talk with your doc and get a routine, because even though you think you're doing it right, there's always something and you can injure yourself. So yoga is great at home. But again, before you get too far down the road with yoga, I would encourage you to go to a class and learn the technique. And then there's a lot of videos. I mean, videos are everywhere. You can watch them on your phone, you can watch them on the TV, you can buy a DVD. And those are all great, so that's great for at home. And it doesn't take up much space. Get your little mat, and if you don't want to buy a mat, put a towel down, but you need to have something between you and your carpet. And just do it at home in that spot. But you don't need to spend a lot of money for your activity. I'm a runner, I run almost every day. I run outside of my home. So I change my clothes, I go outside, I come in, and I hit my shower. I don't need, you know, so you don't need to spend a lot of extra money on those kind of things. It makes sense? Did I
Yeah,
answer
like
your
little
question?
free weights, like you're saying, I mean, how much do those even weigh?
Oh, you can
How do
get
you know, how do
different.
you
Well,
know
how do you
what
know?
your
I
starting
mean,
point is
right.
if you haven't done it before?
Very good. I would start with, I know it's gonna sound crazy, I would start with like a pound weight. If you've never lifted weights before and you do 3 reps of 10 of this, and then, you know, you do 10 and then you count to, 5 or whatever, and then you do 10 more and you do it 3 times, and then you do these. And again, you should always work with a professional who's gonna actually show you exactly what you should do for you. What is it you want? I could tell you, here's for arms. I'm not a professional, I don't know what you want, I don't know your body. And then, but it seems like 5 weights, which is 10, right? Because it's 5 in each hand. It's like, oh, I could do 5 weights. Well, that's a lot of weight, especially when you're starting off. So resistance is my favorite when I'm working with beginners. It's no weights, it's just, doing that and just changing it for, do it like that for a couple of weeks till it feels comfortable, then add some resistance. But again, it's a 12-ounce can in your cupboard. You can get, after you finish a gallon of milk or whatever, you can fill that up with water. You got 64 ounces in there. So, you can, but Walmart, there's a lot of inexpensive places to purchase weights, but then you have to store them.
You can get resistance bands.
Love-
Do the same.
Yep.
They come in a variety of resistances.
Right, so he suggested resistance bands, which are amazing. And so again, I say start out with the band with the least resistance, because even though they're rubber bands, they look like, off you go, and then pretty soon, everything hurts. And once everything hurts, are you gonna go back and do it again? Not for a while. So start out with the least resistant, the least weight, and like I said, even if you're doing something, just start out with nothing. And lunges are fantastic. And then eventually you'll do lunges with weights in your hands. So, you can do a lot of these things on your own, but I really encourage you to visit with a professional first so that they can tell you and show you the proper techniques and what's good for you. Answer the questions? Good, fabulous. So just so you know, roadblocks, and as we just talked about the time. Oh, I couldn't possibly have time for that. Seriously, you have time for everything else, right? Time for everything else. You can find a few minutes, especially if you're a beginner. Knock that down to the 10 minute. Then you have your 30 minutes. And then when you go to bed at night, I want you to just take a moment to say, wahoo, I got that in. I want you to go in your bathroom mirror and take a dry erase marker and give yourself a tag, right? I want you to go and on your calendar, I want you to put an X on there. I did my 10, 10, 10. Woo. The more you think about it, the more you fill yourself up with that positive reinforcement, that's how you're gonna start changing your mindset about, this isn't drudgery, this is exciting. And look at me, I got 5 in a row. So, knowledge, again, we've talked about that. Talk with your doc, check out some. If you just visit a studio once and find out, how the technique is and what you should, and use a mirror so you can make sure you're doing things right. Stay motivated. Sometimes we have to change if we're doing the same thing over and over again. Not the worst idea to change it up. So how can we figure out how to get it in our time? Choose to walk up the steps instead of taking the elevator. Unless, of course, it's 10 floors. I mean, go for it, but I don't. But even my husband now, if we're out at the mall or if we're coming in from a flight, we take the stairs. We don't take the escalator. I think back about all the times I used to stand in front of an elevator and push the button for like 1 or 2 flights. But that's who you are. That's who you are until you change that, because it's not a habit yet. And the more times that you take that 1 flight of stairs, the more times you'll look at that elevator and you'll go, oh, I can do 1 flight. But start small. It's those little wins that build up. But, in the beginning, and so it's hard when you're in that mindset and you see like a 18-year-old hop on the elevator and go up 1 flight. It's like, really? Unless you're carrying a bunch of stuff, you could have walked up there as you're going to 10. Walk to places within walking distance. We are in the middle of winter, so it's not as easy as it was before. But, let's say you're going from here to lunch down at the other end of the mall here. You could easily walk over to that restaurant and walk back instead of taking your car. It's those little mindset things. Park further away, easy peasy. So anyway, it's those little things, and the more you start recognizing them and making that plan, the easier it is to continue to make those changes. So your physical wellness, we were talking about this, focus and refocus. Cleaning out the closet, is that activity? Sure. If you do it with intention and you keep going and you're moving that body and you're reaching up and you're putting down and you're shifting and you're moving, that's activity. Give yourself credit for that. But if you're sitting on the bed, just sort through photos, not so much, right? Work or play. I can't play, I have to clean the house. Well, is that physical activity? Start thinking about it that way. It's not that you have to clean the house. You get to clean the house and make it look nice, and by then you're moving that body with intention, right? So she's going for a walk, going out, getting some exercise, getting some fresh air. This one here, she's thinking about going for a walk, but she's thinking about it as in dancing. She's having that in her head. She might be listening to the video of some music and she's thinking dance steps while she's out there, changes her mindset on the drudgery. Or if she's in the house doing activities. This right here, she's on, sometimes this moves. She's dusting. So as she's moving around the house to the music, she's dusting. So, you just gotta change that mindset and make it look different. So change what you're doing with the blocks of time. Instead of watching TV for an hour, get out and move. Instead of sitting down to read a book, get on your treadmill. Now you can't run real fast and read. But if you're moving, but where do we all start? We all start nice and slow, right? You can read while you're on the treadmill. You're standing up, you're moving that body. And you're reading, because that's what we're doing. Or you're listening to an audiobook. But don't just sit. The yoga ball is a good place to sit down if you're doing some work at your desk. We talked about that a little bit. And it works on your core, helps with your core, right? Figure out what you like and you don't like. And again, that's in that planner when you think what's working out, what's not working out. So if you're still doing this and you're going, "Ugh, just hate that." Do you think it might be time to pick another activity? Yeah, right, because you're not gonna do what you don't like doing. So, what qualifies for activity? We talked about the resistance bands. Can you think of anything else that, these are just always thought provokers, anything else that would qualify for activity?
Dusting.
Dusting, absolutely. So again, focus and refocus. So when you were a kid, doing different things were different to you. You opened the door and you went out and you ran around for the whole day. Now, did you think about that as activity or working out or? No, you just went out and played, right? So we need to get back into that childlike mindset and do those different things. So instead of going for a walk, you're actually on a nature hike. Look around, what's going on? I mean, remember when you were a kid and we walked everywhere, I remember these? You know, I knew when it was spring. I knew what things smelled like. And now if you go for a walk, you're focused, you might be listening to a book or just walking to get it done. Be aware of what's going on. You're on a nature hike. Instead of swimming, remember the kids couldn't get them out of the pool? I know, think about it as fun, not just drudgery to do your thing there. Biking, I love this. Again, weather temps, although some people, it behooves me, with the fat tires are out there in all weather. But anyway, seeing your community on wheels. So write stuff down, write these ideas down, and you guys are doing a good job. When the thoughts come to you, because they come and they go, so if you're having a thought, write it down so you can review it later about how you might want to change that concept. So just some knowledge, I love this, ask for referrals from people you trust. I understand you've been going to a yoga class, how do you like that? What do you know about it? How's the instructor? Can I come? Or, hey, I'm going to a yoga class, do you want to come with me? You can come for 3 times and it's free. And she's great, she takes it easy with all of us, very personal. So find out who's doing something and go with them. And then make some phone calls. Most clubs will let you do anything a couple, 3 times at no cost, just to see if you like it. That's where you can also get that additional help. How I want to work on my legs, I want to work on my arms, I want to work on my core. That's where you can ask those questions. And they're going to want you to come back, so they're going to share that information with you. And if you feel confident to do it on your own, you can, but if you need to come back, then you might get a small membership. Here we go for the refueling. This is when is it right to, how are we doing on time? I know I'm skipping along here pretty quickly. I do that anyway, but whenever I think we're short on time, then I really put it in high gear. You guys keeping up all right? Perfect. Rules for refueling. So if you're a beginner, it's different than if you're that person out there doing a marathon or, you know, that mountain biking or on that, the weights, working weights for an hour. Insane. So if you're doing it for an hour or less, you're probably gonna be okay. You don't really need to consciously fuel up so that you'll burn the activity. You're gonna be all right as long as you're eating right. Give yourself some time before the activity, because even if it's a light workout, your body's not used to it yet. So you wanna eat something simple and maybe an hour before your activity. Some simple protein is good, a little peanut butter on a cracker or something like that, just so that your body has something to go with. Staying hydrated is extremely important. For the people who work out longer or go further distances, you'll get fatigued, so that's where they talk about the fuel. If you've ever heard people talk about the gels and different things that they carry with them, it's just so that they don't get over fatigued and then they can't keep up. But most importantly is the staying hydrated. So make sure you have that water before, have it with you when you're working out, and afterwards. Is it important to stay hydrated after the workout? Yeah, why?
My body's still working.
Your body's still working, you wanna flush out things. You'll get crampy and fatigued, right? You might think you're hungry. Let's just talk about that just for a quick moment. Sometimes we go backwards because we've added an activity. Now we're doing something for 30 minutes a day. So somewhere in our head, before we get that mindset right, we start thinking, well, I worked out, so I'm gonna have a sleeve of Girl Scout cupcakes.
Sleeves.
I mean, you know.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. Not 2 or 3, the entire sleeve I just
Boxes
worked
are
out.
pretty small
Yeah,
now.
Just one sleeve?
So, I mean, people, I'm gonna have 2 helpings of, you know, whatever. So you have to be conscious, you worked out for a reason, you added that activity for a reason, you were feeling so good about it, right? Then you go and kill it and do something that you know that you shouldn't do. So that's where you gotta stay in the mindset and not give yourself that false sense of permission that, well, I worked out so I can have that. So I don't know if any of you have talked to people who've started a workout routine and started with somebody, it's like, I've gained weight. You know, I hear that and it's like, okay, well, let's dissect that. Let's break that down. Let's chart what we've done, how much we've done, get all the activity down. And, scary, let's put down everything we've consumed in a day, including our water. BLTs, bites, licks, and tastes. Everything that we've had in our day, right? Then it turns out we've over-treated ourselves because we worked out. So, you know, keep all that stuff. It's all very, very important to keep in mind. So, post-workout, if you're starving, again, try and get something quick and easy. Nuts and eggs. Eggs are great. They've fallen off fashion, but they're now back in fashion. I happen to think eggs are a wonderful, wonderful breakfast, lunch, snacks. I love them. If you're feeling a little queasy, and that's maybe a little further down the road, that's when another good time to put something to balance the acid juices in your stomach. The acid juices in your stomach. I'm talking too fast for even me now. You work out at night, you don't want to eat right before bedtime, so you want to have something little because otherwise you'll wake up, you won't sleep well. So maybe a little peanut butter, a little graham cracker. Certainly not a piece of cake or a sleeve of Girl Scout cupcakes. So, you know, just be conscious, be thinking, and then continue to celebrate yourself on these wins. When you go to bed at night and you've done all these good things, tell yourself that. Good for me. I feel good about this. Because the more you pat yourself on the back and help yourself change those habits, the better you're going to be. So, when is it time to schedule an appointment? When is the activity not working out? When have you hurt yourself? How do you want to prevent yourself? Feeling run down, dealing with stress, it hurts too much. There's a lot of these things. Sleep apnea is a real thing. Restless leg syndrome is a real thing. So those are the kind of times. But at this moment, and then we'll pick back up again, I'm gonna turn it over to Dr. Amanda. She's got some tips on some different things. So come on up here, Dr. Amanda.
Yeah.
Yay! And take it away.
Well, thank you. Take a second to thank Terry for coming and sharing all this awesome information. And for all of you being part of the Cadence family. I'm thankful that you're here today. And I just wanted to take a second to remind you how all of what Terry is talking about and moving our body connects with what we do here on your visits. Does anybody remember why the movement of our bones is so important, aside from specifically the bones and muscles? One more really important thing on why we need to be moving our body.
Keep our cartilage liquid.
That's a good one. There's another one.
Nervous system?
Yeah, so the nervous system, the movement of our spine simulates the brain function in our nervous system. 90% of the nutrition to our brain comes from movement of the spine. So we need to keep moving and stay active, as Terry's instructing, to keep that information going to our brain. And then when you're here at your visits, just a reminder that those thermography scans are what are evaluating the nerve function. So we're able to see how well your body is actually adapting, because our body naturally is meant to adapt to stress and to all of the things that are going on in life. And I'm sure we could run through a whole range of stresses that happen. Yes, right now staying active can be a stressor, but we want to switch our thinking and be excited about what we're doing and how it can impact us. But there's still, you know, jobs and finances and family and all those other stressors. So keeping your body moving and taking that time for you is really important to help your body continue to be able to adapt, to keep you moving and reaching your goals. So what I wanted to give you today is a little take home, which is some posture exercises. How much do you think we all spend, how much time do you think we spend sitting in a day?
A lot.
Too much. About 30 hours.
Yeah, 30 hours in a day. So we sit when we eat, we sit when we go to work, we sit at work, we sit when we get home to relax, we sit a lot. And so these exercises are from Straighten Up America, and they're posture exercises for you to bring into your routine. So this could be one of your goals, to do this in the morning, to do this at night, to do this during breaks, whatever is your best time. So I want you all to write your note there and then make some space to stand up, because we're gonna walk through these right now together. Okay, so the first one is to stand in the ready position, which is called the inner winner. So our inner winner, we want our ears and shoulders in line, standing up nice and tall. We spend all our time forward, we're gonna get our chest up and open, and this is the starting point. And so the first exercise on there is actually our, the eagle. So we're gonna breathe in and we're gonna raise our arms up and out and down to the side. There you go. And nice breath up, inhale in, and exhale out. Now when you're doing that, I want you to think of your shoulder blades closing together slightly behind you and opening up your chest as you reach up and exhale out. Be intentional with your breathing, as Denise mentioned earlier. We want to think about it and be aware of the breath through that process. So we're actually relaxing our shoulders and opening our chest and breathing through our stomach, so we really get a lot of the lung power. And now the next one is our hummingbird. What we're gonna do is put our arms like this, so we have our elbows and shoulders in line, and then you're gonna make circles backwards with your elbows. So it's this part of your elbow here, making that circle backwards, and you're squeezing those shoulder blades together, and again, opening up your chest, and really thinking of even like looking up a little bit. Now the fun part is we can make this a happy hummingbird, and we can lean to the side while we're doing it. So you get a little movement through the sides. And the last one is the butterfly, where we put our hands on the back of our head. Now hold your hands steady, but lightly press your head into your hands. So you're activating the muscles on the back of your neck by a slight resistance of your hands on the back of your head. You can think about opening those elbows up more, again, opening up your chest. Nice breaths in and out. Again, keep thinking about the breathing. And then really the focus here is to wake everything up, get our breathing slowed down, because we're anxious about whatever task we're trying to get done, and we want to open up our chest because we spend so much time forward, and that is a big part of what triggers our bodies to lose the curve in our neck, because we're forward and looking down all the time. So working on our structure, working on the nervous system to keep our body moving and stay healthy. Any questions? Good job. So you have the little cards where you can take those, you can put that up in your mirror in the bathroom for your reminder, next to your desk, so when you take your breaks every 30, 60 minutes, you have a reminder. If you need another copy, I'll give it to you. All right, guys. Thanks, Terry. Keep going.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Dr. Amanda, that's great. And these are, it doesn't take that long to do that, right? And so these are some of the little tips that we can do, and again, put it in the mirror. You know, right there, and it's like you're brushing your teeth. How hard is it to do some of these things while you're, you know, getting ready in the morning? So, perfect activities. So starting point, whether you work out at home or in the gym, whether you're getting ready for a 5K, moving that body is so important. Whether your goal be to lose, you know, here it says 10 to 100 pounds, it could be 5 to 15. Wherever you are, keep that in mind and set a goal. We need to have goals, otherwise we kind of get lost in what we're doing until we get our mindset on this is who we are now, this is our life, this is what defines me. Oops, I forget. We must have went dead. There you go. Okay, move that body in your routine. Again, we talked about putting that on the calendar. It goes back to frequency. When are we gonna do it? What are we gonna do? When are we gonna do it? How are we gonna do it? Find that buddy system. All of this starting to sound familiar? All right, look at you already getting in a new habit. So, fitness gadgets, there's all kinds of things to do. We talked about just the paper, which I love paper. We all have a smartphone, right? All right, a smartphone or a Fitbit. Yeah, yeah, look at you, see, right. So they have apps, free apps on moving that body. And the thing that a lot of people don't know is your smartphone. Everybody has this on their smartphone. It comes with it. You can't avoid it. There's a heart on your display piece in the front when you open up the thing. There's a heart and it says health. Just open that up in your settings, and it will, if you, because we always, you know, I don't know if we should, but we carry those around with us all the time. If you're going for a walk, going on the bike, whatever you're gonna do, it will automatically track your activity. I know, and it's there and it's free. So you don't have to remember to plug in your Fitbit or, you know, if your batteries are out, you always have your phone. So go there and you'll see the heart. In there, you can always put in what kind of activity you're doing, what you're eating, how much you're drinking. But it records your activity for you, so you just have your phone on. You can look later today. You know, turn that on, that setting on, and look later today and see how many miles you put in. So simple, so easy. Most people forget they have that. So there's also lots of different gadgets, whether it be the bands or those sorts of things. Always be sure and talk with your doctor. Always be sure and check in. I'm not your doc, I don't know what's best for you, so what your doc advises you is worth a lot more than what, you know, they take top priority. So if I told you one thing, your doc tells you something different, do what they say. So focus on why, if you start to talk yourself out of the workout, because we're good at that, do it anyway. Because no one ever said, I just wished I hadn't worked out. No one ever says that. So listen to your body. If you're struggling, it is important that you heed the warnings. Go seek help if you need, you know, visit with Dr. Amanda or your health professional, because it might be a sign that something's not quite going right. Change your variety depending on if you want cardio, interval training, if you're working on strength conditioning or flexibility, which is really super important. Be sure and stretch before you work out. Who thinks it's important to stretch after workout? Absolutely, absolutely, because that's when you're gonna cramp up, that's when you're gonna pull muscles. Don't immediately go sit down, get your stretching in, very important. So move the body, keep it safe. Lots of stuff to read here. Don't forget your cool down. One other little tip I want to share with you, we talked about the book. What's the book?
Younger next year.
Absolutely, Younger Next Year. There is, I just lost it thinking about that. If you're looking for something, you don't have something, this is a fantastic, on your smartphone, or you can do it on your computer too. Johnson & Johnson 7-minute workout. There's many 7-minute workout. It's important that you look for the Johnson & Johnson 7-minute workout. Start with the beginner, do that for a while, and then move on. But that will give you a full body workout, cardio, and everything. It is one of the best. Athletes do it and promote it. So the 7-minute workout, Johnson & Johnson. And that's what you can do in your home without, doesn't take much space. You need a chair and a towel and a wall. So a few things in life can match the euphoria you feel after a great workout. Your muscles are tired, you've worked up a serious sweat, your mind's relaxed, and for that moment you're free of stress and worry, and everything else just feels amazing. So true. So things to do today, there we have it. So if there is more information you'd like from me, I have some handouts in the back. I'm going to be doing a full day wellness workshop coming up in the spring. I'll be getting your information from Dr. Amanda, and I'll fill you in on when we're doing that, and it'll be a lot more of these kinds of tips, as well as we'll have some breakout sessions and lunch. So again, of all the things you could be doing today, you chose to come here. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for your time and attention, and here's to your wellness.
Do you have any questions for Terry?
Yeah.
I do. I missed part of the first part, so you may have already talked about this. It's nice to do stuff together, so it'd be nice to do stuff as a couple, but my workout level is very different from where my wife's workout level is. So when she's doing a nice exercise walk, I'm taking a stroll. So are there things that you can do to kind of equal things up that don't kill one or necessarily do anything with the other? It doesn't really matter as long as you're moving, everything is kind of okay.
Good question. And as long as you're moving, everything is okay. Let's start with that. But wherever we are in our activity level, one of us is getting, we're working a little harder than the other one of us.
Right.
So if you're the person that needs to push it a little bit more, and I understand what you're saying, you might take off at the same time, and your turnaround might be different, and you come back and you walk back together.
Oh, okay.
Or in the summertime, I've done this with other people, I'll do a run and they'll bike beside me. So you just have to figure out, because you don't wanna lessen your activity level, but you don't want the person that you're working with to feel bad that they don't have the same, because once again, what's gonna happen?
One's gonna quit.
Absolutely. So probably, the walking together, I love the turnaround.
Mhm.
You figure out what your pace is and how much further you get. And so you just go that distance and turn around and get your activity level in. And then you come back and you cool down and walk back with them. So, and most of us don't care. If I'm walking a little slower, running a little slower, you go on ahead. I'm getting my thing in, I feel good about it. Then when you come back and meet up with me, I'm like, hey, that was great. I feel good, I don't feel bad because I held you back, and we both
Could one
finished.
of them just carry weight, like hand weights or something, to make it more rigorous for the one while and still walk at the same pace?
Absolutely, and you can do, you can swing the arms and add more movement to it, all those kinds of things. But if you're, again, that's great, that's an absolutely great idea. But if your satisfaction in your head is distance and speed, that's not gonna get you where you need to be in your mindset. But if you're almost at the same level, I would encourage you to add wrist weights, leg weights, pump your arms. I see a guy out and he's walking hard with intention, straight and strong, and he does this the whole time he's walking. And when he's finished, he turns around and goes, his arm is supposed to be amazing. But, so, yeah, you just gotta adapt to some things. Is anything else? Any other questions?
Wonderful.
You guys have been a fabulous audience. We're gonna get your name, go in for a drawing,
Yeah,
and,
good, we'll close out with that. So Terry brought a nice little prize here, so in order to enter into that, you could put your name on the card. And while you're doing that, if you have an idea for a topic for our next wellness series event, I would love your thoughts. So go ahead and write your name and your ideas to put in the fishbowl. If you haven't signed in, please do so, just so we can send a thank you. And then if you haven't grabbed a t-shirt, all guests get a t-shirt today. We have different sizes, and of course there's treats. So thank you again, everyone, so much.
I did not